Hey y'all. Today we're going to be talking about gender. First, before I get started, I want to direct you guys to the links down below for the artists that you're going to be seeing in the final panel, as well as the music that you're hearing in the background. Shiro's the artist for the music. Did me a really good big favor by allowing me to put his music onto especially political videos. The artist was really great. Got everything done within about an hour for that last panel, and he's a 3D modeler. Hit him up. Alright, so gender. What is gender? Gender is the societal male or female, not the biological one. Within different societies, different traits are masculine and feminine, which denote male or female. So the gender expression is the expression of male or female. Okay, that seems straightforward enough. Why is this contentious? Because there's a lot of people out there who seem to want to push the idea that male and female aren't the only genders. That there is a whole infinite number of genders out there that mean an infinite number of different things, and I find the entire idea to be completely ludicrous. Now, a lot of people argue that your gender isn't tied with your biological sex at all. It can be fluctuating between anything within there. Well, 99.7% of the population identifies with the gender that's associated with their sex, i.e., if you are born male, you identify as a male. If you're born female, you identify as a female. That means only 0.3% of the population is the technical term, which is transgender. Now, 99.7% is a statistically substantial enough number that we could easily conclude that biological sex is in fact tied with your gender identity and expression. I don't really think that this is a point of contention or something that's really debatable very much. It's about, what would that be, 900,000 people that are transgender? By their own definition, not by any sort of measurable definition, but their own. That means that people who are identifying as genderqueer, which is anything that is not within the gender binary, as they like to say, are also included within that statistic. Not people with genuine gender dysphoria, but just idiots. Let's call them for now. Genderqueer isn't a real thing. Let's just get that out of the way. Genderqueer isn't real. Genderqueer is a transgender person who doesn't identify as male or female. They're some other special little thing. And what that is completely up to them. Now, the reason that I can, with full confidence, say that they're not real is because it's just their imagination. It's just what if they're feeling masculine or feminine that day. Okay, well, I must be genderqueer because I'm a male, but I feel some female things, but I also feel some male things. So I'm non-binary or pangender or any of these other completely made up terms. Completely made up. And within the social sciences, people are indulging within this. I think because within the social sciences, it's an exploration of the human psyche and the human mind. Especially within psychology. And whenever you delve into the human mind, you find that it is overwhelmingly complex. More complex than any supercomputer ever made and probably ever could be made. So you find all these different little variances and you want to give them names. Oh, I discovered this. I found this out. You want to give them different terms when in reality that terminology doesn't make a whole lot of sense to talk about with them. Going back to the victim mentality video. People have a victim mentality typically because they want to feel special. They want to feel like they are special and different, and that something special happened to them and they can do something special about it. This goes into this whole gender theory and bullcrap as well. because they want to feel special. They don't want to be binary. They want to be pansexual, pangender. They want to be bigender. They want to be genderqueer. They want to be demisexual. They want to be all these other different terms. And then they keep making more terms because they're slightly different than a pansexual person. They're kind of pansexual and bisexual, and so they make up another term for it. When in reality, they're really none of those things. They just exhibit some masculine and some feminine traits, and they want to feel special. A girl who exhibits a lot of masculine traits, but is still a girl, is a tomboy. And a boy who exhibits a lot of feminine traits, and is still a boy, is a tomgirl. These terms are completely lost on these people. They just don't exist for some reason. And if these two terms did exist to these people, this whole thing would go away. It would cover every one of these special little genders. Now, I want to talk real briefly about transgender versus transsexual. Transgender specifically is a societal implication of it. Transsexual is whenever someone is transitioning between genders physically. You're changing the physical appearance of yourself to be the other gender. Well, the other sex, really. That's why it's sexual versus gender. Someone like Blair White is transsexual. Someone like Riley is transgender. These two things, while separate, are typically correlated to one another. And the idea that transgender is you're a male or a female sexually, but you identify as a female or a male respectively. While transsexual is, okay, now that I am transgender, I'm going to change myself to the gender identity with which I am. You can't transition to, you can't become a transsexual, non-binary agender. You just can't do it. Now, why do I think that this is really important? Well, because people are advocating that biological sex now isn't real. Because transgender people exist, biological sex doesn't real to these people. And that is a complete bastardization, if I've ever seen one. That is beyond false, and a removal of anything scientific from the discussion. I simply put cannot fathom a world where we start to move away from science to these cults and these religions of gender politics and identity politics. These are religions and cults, absolutely. To say that they are something else, I find to be complete obfuscation of what they actually are, what they purport, and the power with which they have to change society. Because they do have real power to change society. They are. There are thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who will defend these people now in the name of inclusion. And it's hurting society. It's creating more rifts. It's creating more divides. And these identity politics are, from my perspective, the focal point of the division within this country. This whole discussion about transgenderism, genderqueer, and these other imaginary made-up genders, they're just another part of it. They're just another divide within there. They're just another layer of separation, so they can point at you and say you're cis. So they can point at you and say that you're a cis-normative bigot or something. How can you understand me? I'm a demisexual bigender. Well, I can't, because you're an idiot and you made up what you are. I think ridding ourselves of these different divides, of these different areas with which people are trying to make themselves special whenever they're not. Whenever it's not really that special. Getting rid of all these extra terms and making it simple again. I think that would go a long ways in healing this divide. But I don't really see that conversation happening very often. And that's very troubling. And I really hope that people can start moving away from these ideas that you have to be special, because you don't. I really want to thank you guys for watching. If you disagree with something I said or you want to add to the conversation, please comment down below. I'd be more than happy to see what you have to say. Again, I really want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.